Hello. I haven't done one of these for like 2 weeks. As you can tell, it's not the usual background because I'm not at my house. I am house sitting for David and Alicia, and they live by a busy road, so you might hear some cars. Also, my eye has been twitching nonstop for like 3 days. So if you see it like freaking out, just ignore it. But I don't think my video camera is, or my webcam is good enough. So probably won't. But it still freaks me out. Hmm. Might close the doors really quick. Oh, it is just so hot. And there's a fan, but that's loud also. And you can still hear that. But I don't know where good lighting is in this house. So I'm by a desk lamp. Um, Today I met up with Michaela for the first time in since early May. And so, with my last video, I was talking about how I kind of had been talking, or I had been talking about her a little and kind of my feelings towards her. And I had talked to Justin about it, and I gave it some time. I had told myself, like, write 100 pages in your book. And once you do that, then, you know, that will be the sign that it's time for you to reach out. Um, so I wrote a little over 100 pages and I reached out. I was so nervous. I just said, I can read. I had said, here's some. I said, hey, would you be able to get a coffee or something sometime? Very vague, I know. I'm charming. And then the next day, she said, sure. Is there a reason? I said, to talk, catch up, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, we ended up meeting up today at noon at a little coffee shop. And before going into it, I had 1,000 different ideas. So I had 1,000. Oh, it's the cat eating. I was like, what is that noise? I had 1,000 different thoughts on how I should act, what I should say, what might happen, what she might say, and like 99% of those like terrified me. I envisioned everything as from it being like awesome and going just how I wanted it to go to like almost a sitcom type routine where she shows up with this hunk and is like, oh yeah, this is my boyfriend. And yeah, you know. And so I think my eyes have been twitching because I've been stressed and it's been driving me crazy figuring out what I need to do. What do I say? What do I say if she brings a guy? What do I say if she's crazy? And what do I say if, nothing's working? And, it's something that would just keep me up literally at night. And it would be hard for me to sleep because, it's been like 4.5 months or a little more since I've seen her. And I know a lot of people might think like, oh, that's, I don't even talk to my parents that often. But to me, it's been like a grueling 4.5 months or so of waiting to talk to her and wanting to tell her different things I thought and explain some things. But at the same time, I wanted to see where she was and what was going on, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go. So I got there, and she got there a little after me, and nice twitching, so it's bugging me. She had brought Stella, the dog, and I was kind of bummed, not bummed to see Stella. I love Stella, but Stella used to always be so excited for me. Right before we broke up, I was dog sitting for Stella, and when I would come home from work, Stella would jump all up and down, and she would be so excited to see me, and it was like super exciting to get home to. And like today when I saw her, she's like, eh. The closest version of a dog going, eh. So I was like, oh great, that's not a good sign. And then Michaela was holding some stuff. She gave me some DVDs I had forgotten about, I guess, at her house, and some Switch games I let her borrow. I didn't need them back by any means. So for me, that felt like her giving me more stuff of mine back. Is like, okay, here's more of your stuff, so you don't have an excuse to like communicate with me again. So that wasn't the greatest feeling. I don't know if she meant for it to be like that, but like she wasn't like, oh, I have some stuff. Like once we're all done, she was like, boom, here. We stood in line and ordered some food, and we got all the like small talk out of the way really fast. We burned through, what you hope is like kind of the like loosen up segment of questions. We ordered some food. I brought her some food, and we sat down, and we continued to have like the awkward, quiet talk of like, oh, what have you been up to? What have you been up to? And how long can that go on? And some of the like low quick conversations went on a little longer. But and then finally I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna like I'm gonna start saying what's been on my mind, and if she reacts bad, I'll shut up. But if she doesn't react much, or it's like good, I'll kind of keep rolling with it till I'm told, like, or I see that I shouldn't. So man, it was so hard for me. Like I started trying to say it, and I started getting like teary-eyed, and it was just difficult because at this point I still didn't know what she was thinking, how she was feeling about like meeting up. And so I told her, I was like, I was super nervous to meet up, and I was like, pretty much what I just said. I don't know like what you've been up to. I don't know how you feel about it. I don't know how you feel about me. And she kind of just like nodded type thing. And I kept kind of trying to say words, and slowly just started saying like like what I had said in my last entry was like, I hope you know that like it was hard on me, like it's not easy for me to cry, and like sometimes it's hard for me to show my emotions, and I don't think I did that when we broke up, but I want you to know like it was tough, like it's been tough, like the classic thing is when people say, oh, wherever I look, like I see her. But that's what it was. And like right after we broke up, we were planning to go on this trip together, and then we broke up, and I went on my own. And, the whole time during the trip, I'm just thinking, like, I wish she was here. Then I went into, I think, what I talked about in my last entry as well, like my plans, like ABC. But I was trying to be like very vague with it because I didn't want to come off as like, oh, I'm a changed person. Like, I want you back. Like, I want to marry you now. Um, I didn't want to come off as that. I don't think that's right for me to go into this after not seeing her, talking to her, and being like, oh, I feel this way. Because it's been so long. I don't know what she's like. I don't know what she feels like. So I tried being very vague. And I already stumble over my words. And then when I'm nervous, I stumble over them more. So I felt like I was just blubbering or like mumbling. And I, I kept saying, like, does that make any sense? And she's like, no, not really. Like, you're being vague. And so I tried going into more detail without saying much, but I think she kept not pushing, but like kept like, and what does that mean? Like, what do you mean by that? And it's like, no. And slowly, I think she was kind of figuring out what I was going towards. And she, sorry, my eye's freaking out. And I think that scared her. Yeah, I think that kind of scared her because she probably saw like this guy's crazy. He has my eye like a different color. She was probably like, he is just being crazy and he hasn't talked to me for 4 months. And now he's like, oh, I'm a better person. Like, I wouldn't believe that. If I was going up to someone like in her, like if I was in her shoes, I'd be like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, I continued on and I kept saying stuff and I tried like holding my tongue or like not giving everything. Because right now I feel like this is something I know is going to take work if I want it. And I think, realistically, I think it's something that I do have to figure her out again and figure out what she wants. And if it's the same thing I want, then great. But I don't know. I was just gonna say, something a lot of people say is like she's quiet. She's quiet. She is somewhat of like a social anxiety type thing. Um, and but I would always tell people like, no, she's like so much more open with me. Like you just wait and see. Like she's so much more open because she was truly like a different person with me. And today I felt the other side of that. I felt her, how my friends see her, I think, where she was, this is just what I saw. I'm not saying any of it's fact, but from what I saw, it was like she doesn't want to talk. She feels awkward being here. Um, yeah. But then after I kind of like talked about the deeper stuff and how I was feeling somewhat and like my plans, uh, like I felt like the mood really lightened up and like we were joking and kind of laughing and she was opening up a little more. And I was like, okay, like this is going good now. Like we're laughing and like talking about TV and movies that we like, and it parts of it felt really good. And then we were leaving, and I walked her to her car, and um, I hugged her, and I was like, I would like to keep seeing you. I'd like to see you again. Um, like, what do you think? And not verbatim, but pretty close, or at least I think so. Was she said like maybe, but it won't be for a while. And it's like, and like, to me, that was just devastating because it went from like, okay, things are like, I just like threw everything on the table, not everything. And like, I was so worried, and then it was going good, and I was like, okay, like maybe it's okay. Like, there were times where it was kind of like we'll see each other. Like, I might need help with this, or like, we'll watch this together, type thing. Things we were connecting on, and then to be like maybe, but it wouldn't be for a while. I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, a while for me, like 4.5 months for me was a very long time in this situation. I don't know if that's like a little time for her or if that was a lot of time. Um, and I still don't know if she's been seeing someone, which I would like to know, but at the same time, like, isn't my business. Um, I don't know. I definitely left feeling a little more defeated. Like, there were definitely good parts, and I texted Justin and kind of told him what had been said, and he said so. He said, he pretty much said like encouraging stuff towards it. What did he say? Um, he said give it time. That's much better than a flat no. And it gives her time to think, which is true. Um, I don't know. Out of the millions of situations, it definitely wasn't the worst, but definitely wasn't like the best. Like I say, like prepare for the worst, but like hope for the best, or hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And at the end of the day, it wasn't either end of that spectrum, but somewhere in the middle. Um, and I know I'm probably being like just a downer right now, but that's how I feel, and that's why I do this, to be able to look back and recall how I felt that day. Um, yeah, I'm hopeful for whatever is in the future. Um, yeah, I don't know what's in the future none of us do, but you gotta be hopeful for it. I'm finishing How I Met Your Mother. I only have less than half a season left, and it's, I don't know, when I watch it and I know it's coming to an end, and I kind of know what happened. Well, I know what happens, and I have these notes that I have from like the episodes, and makes me feel weird because a lot of the episodes like, oh, the person's out there, you just gotta wait, and I know at the end of the show, like, Ted waits and he's just like frustrated, and like then he finally finds the person, but I know that, like, I know that's coming for him because it's a show and I've seen it, and I've seen things, and it leads up to it, and you get perspectives, and that's how the show has to end. That's how movies and romantic things like end. It ends with you knowing, like, at the end of the day it's happy. But with life, you don't always know that. You don't always know that you're gonna find the one, or you don't know when that is. You don't know. I can sit here and be hopeful, and make 1,000 videos for months and years, and say, I think it's right around the corner. I'm being hopeful, but like, at what point does the hopefulness just run out and you're exhausted, and you say, like, man, I was hopeful for so long, but I'm not hopeful anymore. Like, hopefulness isn't necessarily an action where you exert so much energy, but hopefulness is an emotional, like, mental state where, man, it does exert a lot of like energy in your mind, and that's killer. Like, sometimes I sit here, and for years I've been hopeful, and I've been like, what, like, this thing's leading to this thing, and like, it's gonna lead me there. Like, I'm learning, And, that person has to be around the corner. Like, if this was a show, that's exactly when the person would come in, and that's where I'm at. But I don't know where I'm at. Like, I haven't seen this show. I haven't lived this life. I don't know what's coming next. And that's hard. And like, what can keep supplying hope? Like, yeah, there's so many Bible verses and stuff that talk about, like, you know, like, hold fast, like, God has a plan, stuff like that. And, that's great. And I believe that. But something else in the Bible is like, your plan doesn't necessarily mean it's God's plan. And like, that kind of sucks. Like, to be blunt, that sucks, because of course I want something good and I want happy, but what I see is like, what I want isn't necessarily what I'm gonna get. And I know that sounds childish, but like, it kind of sucks because you don't know. Like, I know it's faith, and like, faith is like something you don't see, and to have faith, like, you gotta believe first and whatnot. I don't know. I'm rambling. Yeah. I wish I knew how it ended. I wish I knew when my life would be, like, when I didn't have to hope, like, when I knew. I don't know. I could ramble on about this for another hour. I don't know. I don't know. I just wish I knew how to make the right moves. I feel like I do so much to try and make the right moves and try and get the best outcome. I'm not the smartest guy. Like, I'm not. I mess up, but one thing I always pride myself on is like seeing all these different situations that might happen, like I was talking about earlier. And you know, it's the situations you don't see coming that like screw you. you know, like the situation today was like, there was a point where before we left the table, I was like, okay, like, I see where this is now. Or like, once we started like lightening the mood, I was like, I see where this is. Like, I've registered this, I've thought of this. And then it twists. And I didn't see that twist. um, my birthday's in a month exactly. And I would like to invite Michaela, but that's a month. Um, to me, that's not a long time. And to invite someone to a birthday with probably only have like maybe 4 other people there, 3. Justin, I feel like Caitlin would have to stay at home because she will have only had a baby for about a week. And then again, Justin might have to stay at home, so 0. And then David and Alicia, but they have Autumn, so unless they can have someone babysit, then they can't come out. Um, I love Amanda, but like, she hasn't been in my life really, so I think honestly it would be kind of weird inviting her. Um, Pat and Akin haven't talked to me, and they're up in LA. Um, and I feel a little hurt by Atkin. I just gotta say that, I keep asking him like, "Hey man, if you get work," and he said like, "Yeah, I got work coming up, like that I want you on." And he's been on a shoot for like over a month, and he hasn't said anything to me. Um, yeah, so it might be a lonely birthday. I don't know. I'm hopeful. We'll end on that. See you. We'll talk to me later. Bye bye. Good night. Get some sleep. Your eyes still twitching.